ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतसे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगे राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So welcome everyone for today's class on Bhagavad Gita. Before starting, I would like to request some of you may share what we discussed yesterday. Anything, any lessons which you learned from yesterday's discussion? Yes, anyone would like to?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, in the last lecture we are discussed that Arjuna is putting reasons that why he does not want to fight in the battlefield.
Yes.
So first reason he had give that if our relatives are dead, then whom I can show my victory. whom मतलब वो अपनी विक्ट्री को किसके सामने शो ऑफ करने का बोल रहे थे कि मैं एंजॉय नहीं कर पाऊंगा अपनी विक्ट्री को।
Yes.
फिर दूसरा उन्होंने रीजन दिया था कि अगर मैं अपने रिलेटिव्स को मार दूंगा तो मतलब उनमें बहुत सारे ब्राह्मण्स भी थे तो उन्हें सिन लगेगा। और तीसरा था कि उसमें हमारा अपना जो फैमिली ट्रेडिशन होगा, जो आप बता रहे थे वर्णाश्रम धर्म के बारे में, तो जो वो वर्णाश्रम धर्म खत्म हो जाएगा उससे, अगर हमारे जो पूर्वज या बोल सकते हैं एल्डर्स जो मर जाएंगे, मतलब उनकी डेथ हो जाएगी, तो वो वर्णाश्रम धर्म खत्म हो जाएगा, क्योंकि वही जो यंगर जनरेशन होती है, यंगर चिल्ड्रंस होते हैं, उनको इंकरेज करते हैं इसको फॉलो करने के लिए।
Yes, very nice. Okay. Anyone else would like to add something, or otherwise we'll go ahead? Okay. So we are going ahead. The next verse, Arjuna is telling. In the previous verse, as you mentioned, he said that that because of if in this battlefield of Kurukshetra, elder personalities, they will be killed. So what will happen? The younger generation, they will not have the proper guidance from elder ones. So there will be rise in irreligious activities. they'll become habituated in all kinds of religion. So then now Arjuna is explaining what will happen if people they forget the religious tradition, and because of lack of elder people personalities. And this is what we see nowadays in modern world, because especially in western countries and in India also, in many of the multi cities or small cities also, now it is going everywhere, that this concept of nuclear family, it has come. So this is again, this is the same thing which is Arjuna here. Arjuna in the previous verse, in 39th verse, he was predicting that if the elder personalities are not available, then the younger generation, they don't get an inspiration, encouragement, or guidance from elder one to perform their spiritual duties. So in this way, because of having no shelter, they become independent, and they act whimsically. So we see many young people, they just pass, they get degree and they start their job, they get married and they live alone. They do their job, they earn money, they enjoy their life, but they have no conception, or they have no inspiration to perform religious activities because elders are not available. So what is happening? The result is we are seeing the result, and the same result will be explained by Arjuna in this verse. Then we'll compare what Arjuna is predicting. So in this way, we can understand this Bhagavad Gita. What Arjuna is telling, it is exactly happening nowadays. So what he is telling, what will be the result? The result will be adharma bhibavat Krishna pradushyanti kulistriya स्त्रीषु दुष्टासु वार्ष्णेय जायते वर्ण संकरः अधर्म abhibhavat Krishna pradushyanti kulistriya. That adharma abhibhavat, when a religion become prominent, O Krishna, then what happens? Pradushyanti kulistriya, the ladies, they become polluted. And strisu dushtasu varshneya jayate varna sankara. And when the womanhood of some society, they become polluted, and there is generation or creation of unwanted population. So okay, first we'll read translation and purport, then we'll discuss. So one of you may read translation and purport. Who would like to read? Who has not read till now? You can read. Nikhil, you can read.
Ji Prabhuji. Translation. When religion is prominent in the family, O Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descent of Varnasi,
Vrishni, descendant of Vrishni.
descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. Good population in human society is the basic principle of peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. The Varnashram religion principle were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of society and community. Such populations depend on the chastity, chastity and faithfulness of the womanhood. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder member of the family. By being engaged in various religion practice, women will not be misled into adultery. According to Chanakya Pandit, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So the different family tradition of religion activity should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the. प्रभु जी थोड़ा ऊपर
Yeah,
कर
yeah.
दीजिए. कहाँ था?
ऊपर second line.
And thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to the population eligible for participating in the varnashram system. On the failure of such varnasrama dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with the men, and thus indulge in at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood and human race at the risk of war and pestilence.
Yes. So this is a very nice prediction by Arjuna, and we see how Arjuna is so fearful, and he is seeing the consequences that because of fighting in this battlefield, what may happen. That is why he is not willing to fight. So this is when the elder members they are not available, younger generation, especially it is mentioned women, they become free to act because and it is observed also in joint family. We have observed that young daughters, young means women who are newly married women, they are so nicely protected, and they have lots of they are able to execute their responsibility also properly under the guidance of elder people, and they are trained nicely. So in the Vedic culture, when women were given protection, that was considered for upgrading the family tradition. It's not that in the Vedic culture, like many of the people they think, in the Vedic culture, women were always suppressed. They were not given freedom, independence, so they could not grow properly. Like immediately after India became free, independent, so many of the even politicians also they thought like this, because in India, women were not given the freedom. So almost 40-50% of our population was means under privileged. They were not having any growth, any advancement. So now let us give freedom to all with equal opportunity to both women and men, so that our country can advance fastly, and it may become a developed country. So they were thinking this as the one of the reason that why India is not coming into the category of developed country. One reason they were mentioning this. But even after giving full freedom, still we see after almost 70 years, still India is all in the same category, developing country. Rather, the situation has degraded so much. So when in Vedic times, when women were treated like that, it was not that they were suppressed. The reason was they were given extreme amount of protection, and they were very much protected and respected. Like I heard, and we also must have experience also in our Vedic villages, that if a woman is coming out of the home, then no man they will dare to come in front of her. So they used to have so much respect for the woman. But in cities, you don't find like this. In cities, a young women they just wander on the street, and anyone can come and means pollute them. So there is no respect. The respect has been completely means neglected. But in Vedic society, women were having given a high respect. But because of, just like yesterday, I also mentioned Varnashram system. So this division of Varna and Ashram is a scientific division, and because of different kind of people having different kind of uh, nature, swabhava, different kind of capacity, different kind of intelligence, different kind of psychology, bodily structure. So they were differently divided among society, so that each and everyone can grow and achieve the same ultimate goal of spiritual life. That was the purpose. It's not that uh, when Brahmana, Vaishya, Shudra, Kshatriya, this division was made, it's not that the Shudras were neglected. But Shudras, they have their own qualification. They were very loyal to their master. They were very faithful. So when they were executing their duties properly, they were also advancing in spiritual life. Similarly, the same with man and woman. woman has a separate role. Woman has a unique quality. They have different nature, different psychology. So they need to be engaged like that. Just like in any company, when we go to any company or any institution, so we see there are different departments. There is HR department, finance department, then project manager is there, then somebody uh, in marketing department, different kinds of, somebody is analytics, that data and analytics department. So each and every department, the people, the employees, they have their own duties to perform, having different kind of talents and capacities. So the people, the employees of marketing department, it's not that because they are allowed to go out and have research, and they are allowed to they deal with different kinds of clients outside. So it's not that they become superior and they start means disrespecting other employees who are just working inside the company, just like other workers or some finance department employees. So we don't find such cases, and this was the case in Vedic culture also. It's not that men, they were going out and doing their duties, and when they used to come inside, they used to means disrespect women. No, they were having complete understanding that my duties, according to my nature and psychology, I have my duty, and this woman, she has his own her own duties to perform, and she was very much respected. And because of this Vedic way of living, this was a scientific division, scientific way of allocation of duties according to their different nature and psychology. So what was happening? Everyone were nicely growing and progressing, and everyone were very satisfied. There were no so many crimes and dissatisfaction or suicide or divorce. If suppose if in Vedic culture, if the women were suppressed, then we don't hear that they committed suicide. They were completely satisfied. So much so that they were feeling so much protection, affection, and love from their relatives, especially husband, that they used to they used to willingly die if the husband has died. But now it is not possible. Nowadays, the woman, she can't have that much love for her husband. But earlier it was like that. The sati pratha, which was later on misutilized. But earlier the sati pratha was that if a husband has died, the wife, she had the option that she can either live as a widow, or she can also go with her husband, because when husband has died, he is going to some other planet. So if the wife also, according to Vedic rituals, she follows the same tradition of sati, and means dies along with the husband, she gets the same destination as the husband. So most of the women who were very chaste and who had so much love for the husband, they used to go along with the husband. It was not forced. This was completely voluntarily. But this system was later on misutilized by um, some less intelligent people who didn't have knowledge, proper knowledge. So that is why it was banned. And similarly, this scientific division of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, it was very proper and scientific in Vedic tradition, especially in the ages of Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, and in Kaliyuga also, almost for 4,000 years. It was very nicely working, but only few hundred years back only, when this system was misutilized by some of the so-called Brahmanas and Kshatriyas. They were not having the proper knowledge. They were misutilizing it and disrespecting the other classes of people like Sudras and Vaishyas. Then the government banned. Then the government started that remove this casteism. So try to understand, if some system has been made, very scientific system, and if the follower of those system, they become corrupted, and they misutilize those systems, that does not make the system fault. System is not the faulty, because this system is made by the Supreme Lord Himself. And if in the following the system, the people, those who are following, if sometimes they become corrupted, then it's not that we should remove the system. Rather, what we do, we try to correct the people who are following the system, and if they are not able to take it nicely, then we can replace also them. Just like if government makes some rules and regulations, some kind of laws, the system, and that system is very nicely running over the period of time for 50 years, 100 years, the system is very nicely running. But for some period of time, suppose 5 years, 10 years, it is observed that this law has been misutilized by some of the government officials. So then government need not to change entire system, and the citizens should not blame the system, but rather citizens should understand that this is the fault of those people who are engaged in following the system. So what is the duty of the government? The duty of the government is to just correct those people. So similarly, this Varna ashram system is very scientific. It was running, although it is now hodgepodge. We don't find perfectly. It is not perfectly running nowhere in the entire creation, in the entire world now, in India also. So that is why right now we cannot expect it to be perfectly running. So for this also I have already explained the solution. So that is where the only solution is that whether one is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, doesn't matter. One can simply get connected directly to the Supreme Lord, chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Whatever occupation one is doing, he can continue that and be connected to the directly to the spiritual process. The Varnashram system, the scientific division of Varnashram, was to help one to come to the platform of spiritual life. But now, because the Lord understood, just like I mentioned, when the government sees if the system has been corrupted, the system is not corrupted, but the people who are following, they have become corrupted, because of which nobody is able to completely nicely follow the system. So then the government come into the picture, and they try to rectify the situation, either by correcting the people or replacing the people, or some minor changes in the system, but the system is correct. Similarly, in Kali Yuga, just like Lord Krishna in the 4th chapter, he says that yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. That means whenever the system of religion is destroyed, it becomes degraded. At that time, I appear myself to reestablish the religion again. So similarly, in Kali Yuga also, because it has been observed by the Lord that this Varnashram system is not being properly followed. So at the end of Dwapar Yuga, he understood, he knows, Lord knows everything that what will happen in Kali Yuga. He came and gave directly Bhagavad Gita. And 500 years back, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself, he also came. And he simply said that, okay, Varnashram system has become completely difficult to follow in this age of Kali Yuga. So no problem. I will directly give a process by which one can directly come to the platform of spiritual life. And that is the process of this Krishna consciousness. So that is why in this process of Krishna consciousness, in this movement of Krishna consciousness, there is no regard for whether one is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, whether one has taken birth in India, Australia, America, Africa, whether one is man, woman, child, old people, whatever he may be. Anyone and everyone can come and join and practice the same process and achieve the same result. So this is the extreme mercy of the Lord. But the point which we are discussing here, that this system is very important to be followed, and the womanhood, as it is being predicted by Arjuna, that if the womanhood of any society, if they are not properly protected, then it gives rise to various irreligious activities, because of which entire society becomes corrupted, degraded. Why? because it is mentioned that women, they are prone to be degradation, just like children. They are also uh, very easily, anyone, if the children, they are not properly protected, so anyone can kidnap them. They are easily seduced. So similarly, women. So there is a requirement of proper protection for them, because actually women are the backbone of any society. It's not the men who are the backbone. Man can earn money, can organize things, but the women are main backbone for the society. Although in the Vedic culture it is said that women are considered as ardhangani. Ardhangani means half portion of the man. But the contribution of any woman in society is actually more than 50%, because women, it is women only in Vedic culture also. They used to organize all the details of any religious activities. They used to do everything. It is women only from whom next generation comes. Like here it is mentioned that what happens if the women are properly situated, they are not polluted, they are properly protected, properly respected, and they feel completely safe, complete safety while living in the house, and they feel protected, and they feel love and affection. Then what happens? They grow naturally, they grow, and because of performing, because of giving contribution towards religious activities, their mind is always peaceful and purified. They have natural inclination uh, of devotion to the Lord. Then what happens? Naturally, they give birth to a very nice child. And this is what is actually Garbhadhan Samskar. In our Vedic culture, there is 16 kinds of samskars. Samskar means purificatory processes. It is said that Janmana Jayate Shudra Samskarat Bhave Dvija. That means by birth, everyone is just like a Shudra. Rather, everyone is just like animal only. There is no difference. But through these different kinds of purificatory processes, one becomes a human being. And then further purification happens. One can attain to the spiritual life, can become a devotee. And in all these processes, the most important contribution is by women, right from the Garbhadhan Samskar. There is Vivaha Samskar, and then actually for anyone who takes birth, his samskar or his purification starts before his birth itself. Before the child takes the birth, he already undergoes three purification processes, three kinds of samskaras. Just like I mentioned, there are total 16 kinds of samskaras. Last one is Amtim Samskar, which everyone hears, but not all the samskaras we are able to hear. And last one also, nowadays, nobody is perfectly following it. So before birth, after just immediately after the birth, there used to happen Jat Karma Samskar, and that was fourth number of Samskar. And before that, just you can imagine, the child is within when the child is within the womb, there were two samskaras, and when the child has not yet come into the womb of a mother, there was one samskara, and that is Garbhadhan Samskara. And there is a proper process, proper uh, means consciousness is there, how a man should unite with woman and produce a child. So before uniting, there are certain kinds of religious activities he used to do, and most important of all the activities or processes was that he used to take permission from his guru and from Supreme Lord, and he used to constantly engage himself in such activities so that he can always remember the Supreme Lord, either by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Srila Prabhupada also said, if Grahastha devotees, if they unite, before uniting, they must chant at least 50 rounds and fast entire day and constantly think about the Supreme Lord, Supreme Personality of Godhead, and pray to the Lord that, my dear Lord, kindly send a great soul, a good soul, a devotee who can come to this world and who can deliver himself also and deliver the society also. So this was the mood before uniting. And then when they united, and then the seed was given to the mother in the womb, and that the child was developing. And within the womb also, when he is living for 9 months, the mother has certain activities, certain religious activities, spiritual activities to follow, and mostly those activities for spiritual progress, praying to the Supreme Lord. In this way, when the child used to come out, the child was completely spiritual, a good soul, a great soul. But now we don't find these things. Now people, they just, only for the sake of marriage, they just marry somehow or other. Nobody cares what kind of mantras are being pronounced by the Brahman, the Pandit. Even the Pandit, he does not know what he is pronouncing. So what is happening? And immediately after the marriage, they go for honeymoon. They enjoy all kinds of sense gratification, forget everything. They simply enjoy sex life. So what happens? Then unwanted population, they come. And that is what Arjuna is saying. Jayate Varna Sankara. Jayate means takes birth. Varna Sankara, unwanted progeny, unwanted population. And we have the example also in the Vedic time also. Some of these demons, they were produced because of this Varna Sankara. When Diti, Kashyap Muni's wife, Kashyap Muni has two wives. One is Diti and another is Aditi. Aditi is a mother of demigods, Devatas, and Diti is mother of demons. From Diti, Daityas came into existence, and from Aditi, Adaityas came into existence. Aditya means demigods, and Daitya means demons, asuras. So from so once Diti became lusty. Kashyap Muni was engaged in deep meditation. He was completely in trance in the thoughts of Supreme Lord. But Diti became lusty, and so she proposed to Kashyap Muni at a wrong time for enjoyment. And although Kashyap Muni did not want to do that, and he forbid her also, that you don't, this is a wrong time, it's not a proper way for union, and the result will be you will have a demonic children. But Diti, she could not control. So then forcibly he has to do, she did. And then what happened? Two demons were born, and those were Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu. You must have heard about these two great demons, Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu, the father of Prahlad Maharaj, who was later on killed by Narsimha Bhavan. So this Hiranyaksh and Hiranyakashipu, they were such a great demon that they practically terrified the entire universe. So this is one example of this kind of. So nowadays we see almost more than 90% people, they engage like this only. So that is why there is unwanted population, and so many mini Hiranyaks and Hiranyakashipu have taken birth. They don't have so much power like Hiranyaks and Hiranyakashipu, because the father and mother, they themselves are not so powerful. Kashyap Muni and Diti, they were very powerful. Kashyap Muni was a great sage, but because of having union at wrong time, they produced great demons. But now also the same mentality is continuing. Hiranyakashipu means a personification of sense gratification. It's called Hiranyakashipu. Hiranya means gold, Kashipu means soft bed. Soft bed means Hiranyakashipu means a person who is too much addicted for wealth and women. That is the meaning of Hiranyakashipu. And now we see most of the people, they are just so much addicted for wealth and women. So that is why so many mini Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha are there, because of this unwanted population. So that is why this Arjuna's consideration over here, that if I fight in this battlefield, that will be very degrading for the society. This is not at all good, O Krishna. So kindly do not engage me in this battlefield. So his consideration, his prediction, whatever prediction he has given in this verse we can directly see nowadays in modern times. And this proves that Bhagavad Gita is perfectly practical. And many more things are given. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 12 cantos. In 12th canto, there is a detailed description. Here we are finding only in one verse the description about the unwanted population, which we see in modern day. But in the 12th canto, there are many verses in detail. The degradation or symptoms of Kaliyuga are explained there. And one can, if anyone who reads those sections, he will find that this Bhagavatam, this 12th canto, as if that this Bhagavatam has been written some few days back. You'll find like this, because all the descriptions just they are completely matching with the modern days people. But in this descriptions of Kali Yuga, symptoms of Kali Yuga in the 12th canto, it was written by Vyasadeva 5,000 years back, when Kali Yuga was just going to start. But at that time only he predicted that what will be the conditions of the people of this age. And in one of the verses he says, Kalavasmin yuge jana prayena alpayusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge jana manda sumanda madhya manda bhagya hi upadrita, means prayena alpayusha. He mentions that the people of this age will have short lives. And even it is said that in future, after many thousands of years, when Kali Yuga increases, the person having 30 years of age, he will be considered a very old person. He'll become old man. And now also we see nowadays people are becoming old just after 35 years, 40 years. The symptoms, this symptoms of old age has already come into young age. Even a young boy of 18 years old, he is having back pain. So these symptoms we are seeing. What to speak of 18 years, 20 years of young boy, even a child of 1 year, he is having diabetes. Just imagine those diseases, the diseases which used to come at an old age, like 60 years, 70 years. Nowadays, even a small child is getting those ages. So everyone, the old age is coming down, and age is also decreasing. Earlier, some 100 years ago, people used to live for 90 years, 100 years also. Many of them used to cross 100 years also. But now you will hardly find anyone living for 90 years, 100 years. It will be very difficult. So most of the age has decreased. So these are the symptoms. Prayena alpayusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge jana. Kalavasmin means in this age of Kali. Manda sumanda matyo manda bhagya upadrita. Manda. The people are becoming more lazy. Manda means lazy. Manda sumanda matyo. Not only lazy, but the people are becoming gradually, the intelligence is also decreasing. That is why we need why we have discovered so many this hard disk and laptop and this computer desktop, so many machines. Why we are discovering? Because our intelligence is going down, so we need some other external hard disk to store the information. It is very difficult. Earlier people used to remember so many things, but nowadays nobody is able to remember things. The memory has become very short. The memory power is going down, age is going down, and people are becoming more lazy. Manda sumanda matayo, manda bhagya, and people are becoming more unfortunate. Manda bhagya means unfortunate, misfortune. How? Because we see, at least earlier in Vedic culture, in villages, people at least they used to get a very means pure air to breathe, pure water to drink, pure food substance, vegetables, and this anaj. They used to get pure. They used to eat, drink, and nicely sleep. Everything was at least pure. Environment was there. But nowadays, what is happening? It is very doubtful. If you are living in a city, especially like Bombay, Delhi, Jaipur, Hyderabad, Bangalore, multi-cities, it is extremely doubtful that you can get pure vegetable, pure milk, pure water, pure air. In Delhi, so much population is there. It is said that one who lives in Delhi, his age is already reduced by 10 years just by living there. Even if he doesn't smoke, he is just as good as a smoking person. So just see. So this is called mandbhagya, unfortunate. The fortune has decreased. So this is in terms of material circumstances, facilities. But another meaning of mandbhagya is unfortunate is that people has become so much unfortunate that in spite of having the opportunity to understand the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, to understand, to purify their life, to achieve the perfection in life, understand the purpose of life, but still they don't take it, and that is their greatest misfortune, isn't it? So like we have this so much this Krishna consciousness movement is there in all over the world, in most of the cities it is there, and people are given the opportunity, but they don't take it seriously because of lack of time. They say lack of time. Now this lack of time has become a biggest disease. That is why this coronavirus was sent, that you don't have this coronavirus. In another angle, we can see this is actually a medicine for the greatest disease, lack of time, because people were having this lack of time disease. So coronavirus was sent as a medicine. So now they have all the time, but still many people they don't take advantage of it by reading Bhagavad Gita. Although this government thinking that now people will have so much time, they started serials, Ramayana, Sri Krishna, Mahabharata. They started these serials, but what we see, so less viewers. Although it is said that so many viewers, so many people have watched the Ramayana and Mahabharata and Sri Krishna. Some 7.5 crores of people they have watched in India, but this is a very less number because the population is 130 crores. If 7.5 crores people they have only watched Ramayana serial, and suppose if uh, 10 crores or 13 crores of people, they are police, doctors, so they are not free, they are busy in corona services. They still 20 crores, taking 20 crores. Then this 110 crores of people, why they are not watching this Ramayana serial? What are they doing? That is the sign of mandabhagya, misfortune. That although the opportunity is being given, that you are now free also. Earlier you didn't have time. You said that, oh, lack of time, lack of time. So God, Supreme Lord, out of mercy, He arranged this coronavirus, and you got so much time. Entire day you have free in this lockdown. So still you are not getting connected to this Supreme Lord. Why? Because of misfortune, mandabhagya. Instead of this, they'll waste their entire time in gossiping, in chatting, in WhatsApp, in watching various other nonsense movies in YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, so many things, social media. But they'll not watch the serials, Ramayana, Sri Krishna, or read Bhagavad Gita, or listen to classes of Bhagavad Gita, chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So we can understand from this, although the opportunity is there, time is there, facility is there, and they are able to do also, but still they don't do. That means, what can we conclude? Mandabhagya, misfortune. And this was predicted 5,000 years back by Srila Vyasadeva. In 12th canto it is given. This is another symptom. Above all, he says, prayana alpayusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya hi upadrita. The last one, upadrita. Upadrita means completely disturbed, unhappy. Above all, everyone is unhappy. So we see whether one is a student, whether one is a working person, whether one is a grahastha, whether one is is working somewhere, is a scientist, is a politician, anyone, whether it's a child, a woman, or old man, everyone we see more or less disturbed. And everyone is just saying, I'm disturbed because of such and such situation, because of such and such thing, because of such and such people. But all those people, all those situations, they are not the root cause. A young man thinks that, who is working, he thinks that I am disturbed and unhappy because uh, I don't have a lot of money. I have just started my job. I have family and so much responsibility, but no money. So he says, I am so much disturbed. So once I will become properly situated and I will have proper finances, resources to take care of my family, then I will become happy. No, then you visit a second person who is having all this, who is means suppose 40 years old, 45 years old. So he will find he has you will find that he has some other problems, other causes because of which he is disturbed. And then you go to some other person, 60 years old, 70 years old. They are also disturbed because of, first of all, because of body, and then because of grandchildren who don't listen to them. This is mentally disturbance. So in this way, we can just analyze. I'll not give much examples, many examples regarding this. Less time, but you yourself, you can think over so many examples. At a student circle, if a student is a child, means he is studying in KG class, first standard, second standard, he is disturbed. He thinks that, oh, my elder brothers and my parents, they are too much disturbing to me. When I'll become older, then I'll become free from these disturbances. Nowadays they don't allow me to go out of this room. They think that I'm so small, I'll be hurt by somebody else. So they don't allow me to go on to on the street. They don't allow me to go to playground. So he's thinking in this way. But the student who is in 6th class, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, he has some other disturbances. And he is thinking, a 10th, 11th, 12th class student, he is thinking, right now I'm disturbed because so much pressure is there for IIT medical preparation. But when I'll achieve the success, I'll go to college, then free from disturbances. No. But when he comes to the college, he finds some other disturbances and unhappiness. Because mind is completely uncontrolled. He cannot control the mind. And now he has come out of the home. So no superior guidance. So now it is becoming difficult for him. He has made the goal also that I have to study, but now he has so many distractions, so many bad habits. So he is disturbed. So then he thinks that somehow or other just complete the college studies, and when I'll get a good job, I'll become free from the disturbances. But then what happens? He gets a job, but there also some other kinds of disturbances keep coming. Now he is in the first year of his job. So he finds uh, above him so many people, manager, team lead, project managers. Time to time they start correcting him. They say that, oh, you are so slow because he is a neophyte. He has just joined the company. He cannot work so fastly. He's not expert in coding or expert in whatever business, whatever job he's doing. So the project manager and team lead, they find that he's too slow. So they start chastising him. And then he thinks that once I'll become expert in my job, up to 3 years, 4 years, I will have some position in my company, then I'll become free from disturbances. But then when he gets the position, he becomes very expert also in coding. He can, practically, he can just code like anything. I have seen when I was working in software company, I was amazed. It was very difficult because I was just new. I joined, I was trying, I was able to understand. By a fresher, every freshers, they have to face the problem. These challenges are there. So the persons who were having experience of 8 years, 10 years, my project manager and team lead, they were so fast in coding. The work which I was used to do in 4 5 hours, they used to do in within 15 20 30 minutes. I was amazed. So, but when the same fresher, after so many years of practice, he becomes very expert in coding, and he's made team lead, project manager. Okay, you become project manager. Then he has some other disturbances. At least when somebody is fresher, although he is slow, he is time to time he is corrected by superiors. But at least he has to work for 8 hours only, 8 to 9 hours, 10 hours at most. But but the same person, when he becomes a project manager, so he has the responsibility of project. So he cannot say that I'll work only for 8 9 hours. Then he has deadline that in 1 month we need this complete application. So he has to, sometimes he has to increase his number of hours also, 15 hours, 20 hours. One of my project manager, he used to say like this to me, that oh, you should increase some work hours, you should at least work 2 more hours, because I myself, I am means giving 6 hours of extra time. That means already he is working for 9 hours, and 6 hours extra, that means 15 hours he is working in the company. Just imagine, although they get the money, but what is the use of such money when you are thoroughly disturbed? And then he thinks that, oh, right now I'm project manager, so much responsibility, this, that, though. And then he thinks that, okay, if I have earned lot of money, then I'll leave this frustrating job. I'll take some nice job, cool job. I'll become some teacher, or I'll just open some small center, business center, and I'll just sit behind, and the people, they will work for me. But that also does not happen. Then again he faces some other disturbing problems. So many challenges are there. I need not to describe so many things, but we have experience, and I hope everyone has experienced this, that these things are going on, these disturbing elements and unhappiness. But everyone, there is the people, who are not so intelligent, they think that just by changing some situations or some circumstances, some environment, some people, I can change my problems of life, I can remove my problems of life. But that is not possible, because just try to understand, if suppose if somebody is put into a salt mine, a mine means in a place where everywhere only salt is there, then wherever he touches, what he'll get the salt only, he cannot get anything else. So he has come into a wrong place, he cannot get sweet there. Just like some of you, many of you are studying outside of your hometown, you are studying in colleges, you are living in hostel. So after long your study duration of time, you go back to your home. So many, after so many days, you have come back to your home. So one of your sister, she has just learned some or other, she just learned to cook, means cake. So what she did, she made a very nice cake for you. She used all the ingredients very nicely, she made. But there was only one mistake. What is that? Instead of putting sugar, she put salt in hurry or in worry, whatever may be. So when you start tasting that cake, so externally it is appearing very nice. Oh, so nice cake. And the fragrance is also coming very nice. All the flavors has been added. Rose flavor, vanilla flavor, or everything, whatever is there, I don't know. So everything is very nice. Fragrance is coming very nice. Fresh cake is there. And you just cut one portion of that cake and you tasted it. So you find, oh, this is salty. So you thought, maybe from this side this is salty. Let me go to another side. And you cut the cake from another side and you tasted it also. Then you again found it, oh, this is salty. But again, because the cake is appearing very nice to see, and the fragrance is also coming very nice. So again the illusion comes, okay, let me check from other side. In this way, from all the sides, you cut and you taste it. But what will you find? The saltiness. You will not find it sweet. Why? Because there's no sweet at all. There's no sugar in it. Similarly, in this material world, there is no happiness at all. This has been designed by the Supreme Lord as a place of misery, because this material world is not for enjoyment. This has to be very much clear. This is a fundamental concept. Just like in prison house, if somebody goes to prison house and thinks that I'll become happy, I'll enjoy in prison house, but that is not possible. The prison is not meant for this kind of thing. The prison is meant for to punish and to rectify the pupil, to purify them, so that they can become a good citizen and come out and then enjoy. Similarly, this world is made by the Supreme Lord, not for, this world is not meant for the enjoyment of the living entity. Rather, this world is made for the purification or rectification of the living entities. So if somebody, like some prisoner, if he has done some criminal activity, but if he is a sane person, intelligent person, and if he is sincere, accepts that, okay, I have committed such and such crime, so okay, let me go for punishment. And if he comes with this mentality that I have been put into this jail for my purification, not for enjoyment, and he lives in jail exactly following the rules and regulations given by the jailer, then he can immediately free himself after some time. In many cases, the punishment is released also. But if a criminal, he comes with the thought of the thinking that, oh, in jail also I'll do my gundagirdi. I'll act according to my own independent desire. I'll beat policemen also. I'll beat other prisoners also. Then what will happen? He'll be forced to go into even more darker, deeper cells. He will be put, and sometimes they are they are put into what is said is this kalapani, where there is nothing. So in this way, he increases his punishment more. So similarly, this material world is compared as prison house. That is why it is called as Durga. Durga means prison. And the prisoner of this prison house, this material world, Durga, is Durga Devi. Durga Devi. Mother Durga, she is prisoner. And she is having various weapons in his 8 hands. And one of the weapon is Shul, which is having 3 pointed. Using that Shul, she punishes the living entity in this material world. So she is called Durga, and this material world is called Durga, or jail, or fort. So we should nicely or correctly understand what is this, what is the purpose of this material world, why we have come here, what is my purpose of existence, and what is our duty to perform here. And in this way, we should follow the rules and regulations given by the Supreme Lord, the Bhagavad Gita. First, try to understand, and then if we follow those rules and regulations nicely, then eventually we can get free from all these disturbing elements, these disturbing problems of life. Okay, so with this, I'll end here. And if anybody has any questions, you can ask. Hare Krishna. Yes, anyone has any questions? For 5 minutes, we can take question and answer because time is already over. So 1 or 2 questions we can take.
Hello.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes,
प्रभु जी, जिन बच्चों ने DYS नहीं करा है उन्हें ज्वाइन करा सकते हैं क्या इसमें?
हाँ, करा सकते हैं. अभी जो चल रहा था डिवाइस का ही पार्ट चल रहा था.
हाँ ठीक है, बस वही पूछना था.
Okay. Yes, anyone else has any question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, as
Yes.
stated in the Bhagavad Gita that we can do our activity as a duty. So, how can we do our work without attachment with the same 100% effort? That sometimes if we don't attach with it, so sometimes we forget it. So how can we do it with same?
Okay, very nice question.
Yes,
It is very nice question, but the answer will be actually the answer will come in 3rd chapter. So I'll just briefly explain, and then when come to the third chapter, we'll have more discussion, detailed answer. The first thing we need to understand that if we are attached to work, or if we are attached to any object of this material world, that leads to suffering and disturbances. That is first important thing to be understood in this connection. And then the second question which you have asked, that how can a person without having any attachment can work with 100% effort. So it seems completely impossible, or rather illogical also. Somebody may say, outside person who have not read Bhagavad Gita, who have not understood complete Bhagavad Gita, they put such question. In fact, once I was giving a seminar in one of the coaching classes to students. So one of the teacher, he was quite a elder teacher, and he said he actually he studied Sanskrit in Banaras Hindu University. He was well educated, and he studied Bhagavad Gita also. But because he could not understand, he was not he did not study Bhagavad Gita properly from a bona fide guru, a spiritual master. Independently he studied, so he had half knowledge. So he was putting the same question. He asked me that in Bhagavad Gita some things are which are not practical, which cannot be followed. I said, what is that? What is that? Then he said that in Bhagavad Gita it is said that one should work without attachment. And then he said asked the same question: how is it possible that without attachment, how is it possible that one can work? And he said that I have, throughout my life, I tried this, and I have seen also. I have asked so many people. I have contemplated a lot, but I don't find it's not possible. Then I said, I explained something, but I said that because you have not understood the Bhagavad Gita, you have not read Bhagavad Gita as it is. That is why. You read this Bhagavad Gita as it is, you will get the answer. So the answer is actually, and it is correct also, without having any goal or
Prabhuji,
attachment, one cannot actually
Hare,
perform any activity.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, some noise is coming.
Noise is from, I think, Nikhil's. Nikhil, you mute yourself. Dogs
सॉरी
are
प्रभु जी,
barking.
मुझे पता नहीं चला एकदम कब चालू
Okay,
हुआ.
okay, no
Sorry, sorry.
problem. You just mute right now. Okay. So Shivam, I'll answer this later in third chapter. But right now you just understand there is something, because Lord Krishna, when he's saying that uh, uh, without attachment you work, so he's focusing that you work just as a matter of duty. But this is also a little difficult task. But the goal of a devotee, when a devotee is working, then he becomes completely detached from material things, and he becomes attached to the Supreme Lord. So for the service, for the sake of Supreme Lord, he is inspired to act, and he gives 100% effort. And we can see from the example of Srila Prabhupada, he was completely detached from material things. He took sannyas, but he was working for 20 hours, 22 hours. How was he able to work? Because of this consciousness. This is called Krishna consciousness. Because he was working for Krishna. He was attached to the Supreme Lord, so he could work. So I just explained it briefly. In further classes, we'll discuss it in more detail and with reasoning and logics. Okay? Thank you. Last question we can take. Yes, Nikhil.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Nikhil,
जी प्रभु जी.
you wanted to ask something?
प्रभु जी, मेरा क्वेश्चन तो टॉपिक से हटके थोड़ा डाउट था एक, कि वो जो डायमेंशंस होती हैं उससे
Okay,
रिलेटेड
this
था.
question you ask me personally, you can ask. Right now,
Okay,
because we
प्रभु
have less time, so you can ask only those questions which we have
जी. जी
discussed.
प्रभु.
Huh? Yes. Yes, Shivam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I have one more question.
Yes.
I've heard that everything emanates from Krishna. So,
Yes.
so we have possess this loving propensity. So it's come from Krishna. So some people have greed, sinful activities. So how can we relate these things uh, with this
So
concept?
this is also actually, this is not from this class. So either we can discuss personally, or this question will come when we'll come to the second chapter and third chapter also. Lord Krishna himself explains that what are the cause of sinful activities, how does one is forced to act sinfully. This will be explained in the third chapter. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Or you can call me anytime personally, and we'll discuss. Right now, anyone is having any doubt what we discussed in this class? Okay, no? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you for your... Yes,
Hare
Sandeep.
Krishna Prabhuji. Hello.
Hare Krishna.
Hello.
Yes, you have any
हरे
question?
कृष्ण प्रभु जी. हाँ प्रभु जी, मतलब थोड़ा सा इसी ड्यूटी से रिलेटेड था.
हाँ.
मतलब मेरा काम है, मतलब अगर कोई इंसान है उसका काम है किसी की हेल्प करना या मदद करना, और नीडेड पर्सन की उसने हेल्प भी कर दी.
हाँ.
मान लो किसी को 10 रुपए की जरूरत है, उसने 10 रुपए भी दे दिए. जिस
Yes.
बंदे को 10 की जरूरत थी उस सेकंड पर्सन ने उसे 10 रुपए भी दे दिए और ले भी लिया उसने. तो जो मदद करने वाला बंदा है उसे क्या करना चाहिए कि सामने वाला पूरी तरह से सेटिस्फाई हो जाए?
Very nice question. So, first of all, the person who wants to help others, he has to understand what is actual help. He has to understand that what is the actual problems of other persons. Because if he doesn't know what are the actual problems, or what is the actual help, then what help he can give? Suppose if I'm an engineer, I have studied engineering, and if some of the student I see, they are studying in medical college, they are facing so much problem in their studies. So if I go, I have very much concern for them. I have good intention also to help them. But do you think I will be able to help them? Yes, Sandeep.
तो प्रभु जी,
Do you think I will be able to help them, those students? You understood what I told? Okay, let me explain
हाँ
it again.
प्रभु.
I said that suppose because I have done my engineering, okay, I am having an engineering background. So if I find that some of the medical student, suppose you are a medical student, suppose if
Okay.
you have some problems in your studies, and because you are my
Okay.
friend and I have a good intention to help you out, so do you think I will be able
Okay,
to help you? Although I have a
प्रभु
good
जी
intention.
कर तो सकते हो प्रभु जी, बट हर टॉपिक में नहीं कर सकते. अगर मुझे
Yeah.
कोई बुक की जरूरत है, शायद वो बुक दिला सके मेरे को.
नहीं, that is different thing. Book दिलाना तो करा सकता हूँ. But suppose if you are fine, if you want to understand some topic from me, from biology, zoology, or botany, anything, so I will not be able to help you. Even if you try for many hours, still I will not be able to help because I don't know myself. So how can I help you? So similarly, if you don't know what is actual help, what actual help should be given to other person, and what are their actual problems, then how can I help? For this we need that the point is that the most important point is that which I am mentioning is that we need a proper knowledge about the person, about our own self, about this world, about the purpose of life, about the real problems of life, and about the real solutions which we can give. You understood?
ओके ओके प्रभु जी.
Because if
प्रभु जी
somebody
पर
is
हमें
poor,
हाँ जी,
because
बट
if
प्रभु जी
somebody
ये
is,
हमेशा तो पॉसिबल नहीं है
क्या हमेशा
कि
possible नहीं?
हम मतलब हमेशा के हर सिंगल पर्सन की प्रॉब्लम को अच्छे से समझ के मतलब
Yeah.
समझे और फिर उसकी हेल्प करें, ये हमेशा पॉसिबल नहीं है ना प्रभु जी.
Yes, that is why I gave this example that you can, if you want to nourish a tree, if you just try to water on each and every leaf, then that will not be possible. It is impractical. So what is the best solution? To work on the root. So we should try to understand the real problems of everyone, not just an individual person, some problems. And the real problems are being explained in the Bhagavad Gita. So because this material, just I mentioned, this world is a place of suffering. This world is a prison house. So everyone has come to this prison house, and the world is full of miseries, problems. Everyone is meeting with so many problems. So suppose if in prison, if you go in a prison house, you find thousands of prisoners are there, and each and every prisoners, they are finding so many problems. So if you try to solve their individual problem, you cannot solve, because till the time they are within the prison house, they must have the problem. So you have to find the solution how these prisoners can be removed from this prison house, and again they can be well situated in their home, in their cities, and there they'll become happy. They will become independent, freedom. They'll get freedom. Similarly, here in this world, so everyone has to take birth, death, old age, disease. These four problems everyone has to face. So the solution, the real solution is explained in Bhagavad Gita, that one should work in such a manner so that one can fulfill the purpose of life. Because suppose if somebody is hungry, you can feed him. But how many days you can feed him? If somebody is having somebody is poor, you give him some money, but he may misutilize those money. And even if he does not misutilize those money, so what will be the use? He will spend some money, because if you give him proper knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, proper knowledge about the life, then he can become a proper devotee, he can understand the purpose of life, and then he can solve his own problem. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay.
Will all these questions actually will be answered when we'll gradually come start second chapter, third chapter. All these questions will be answered. So just right now I'm just giving brief answers. Okay.
Okay, Guruji.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.